All right, we're live and streaming, so good afternoon, everyone. All right, can you all give yourselves a round of applause for being here today? I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I'm an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo and one of the co-founders of CSRN, the Community Solidarity Response Network. One of the things that we do before we start anything, we normally start with the Black National Anthem, but I'm going to save you from my singing voice today. I want to do a call and response for our sister Asada Shakur. I'm going to say it is our duty to fight for our freedom. You'll repeat after me, and I'll say it is our duty to win. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win. We must love each other and protect each other.
We must love each other and protect each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other and protect each other.
We must love each other and protect each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
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 Thank you, family. We are here for the Community Solidarity Response Networks, our community vigil, and we're bringing to light our sister Sonya Massey in Illinois, and also we're going to bring to light some of our encounters with Toledo Police Department. You can see some of our signs regarding defund Toledo Police Department, and we're going to talk about the tank that the city council wants to have to assist the Toledo Police, and why we oppose that. Also, we want you to know that our situation here in Toledo, also there's some national things that we need to consider regarding Sonya Massey. And also there are some international aspects of the fight for freedom and the fight of revolutionaries and what's happening in Gaza. What's happening in Gaza is it's a thumbnail of what's going to happen to us here. So if we're silent on Gaza, then they will expect us to be silent here. So we're not going to, we've never been silent on that. And in the 10 years plus that I've known Amjad, he has been silent. So all of those things we're going to speak on today. What I want to start with first is what's happening here in Toledo. There's a brother named Brandon Upchurch, where a few weeks ago, he was stopped by Toledo police on his way home from work. They got the notice that he was driving a stolen vehicle, which he wasn't. They surrounded his video. They asked him to get out of the truck. He got out of the truck, and while he was asking them, why am I being stopped, they sicked the dog on him. And then during his last court appearance, they charged him with something like resisting arrest because the dog was chewing at him, the dog was biting him. I want to highlight my other sister that was simply walking home, and she was walking in the street because the sidewalk that she lives on, which are no different from where I live, is cluttered with trash, overgrown weeds. And the police stopped her and they ticketed her for walking in the street. Now, when we talk about defund the police, what we want to do is reduce the mistraining that they have. What we want to do is save our dollars from being spent on things that are only going to be used to oppose us and suppress us. We have no problem with working with law enforcement that respect us and that honor us. However, we realize that all across America, they're not doing their job. All across America, they have a zero tolerance and a 100% compliance. Well, if that's what they want, well, we want to do the same thing. We want to have zero tolerance from their mistreatment of us. We want to expect them to be 100% compliant with what they say they're going to do. And later on, we're going to talk about some steps forward, how we're creating our own civilian review board to police the police and not allow them to police themselves. What I want to do now is bring up my sister Aviance. She is a part of the parents of murdered children. And I want her to talk about who you are and why we should be concerned and know about this organization. Can we greet our sister with a round of applause?
Thank you and welcome, family. My name is Aviance Hill. I am the chapter leader at the Northwest Ohio Parents of Murdered Children. We have been in existence. Well, I reactivated the chapter. It used to be one many years ago here in Toledo. I reactivated the chapter a few months, maybe 9 months after my son, Isaac Carpenter, was murdered on July 2nd, 2022. When I went to go after my son was murdered, I didn't have anywhere to turn. I didn't know who to go to for support or for help, for resources. And I have other children. I have a grandson. So we didn't know where to go. And there was nowhere to go. There's no trauma support. There's nothing. There's not really any resources. Then I said, okay, we're going to find something and we're going to do something about it. I found this chapter. I reopened the chapter. And now we give hope. We give help. We give resources. And it's just not if you have a child that is murdered. We are grieving as a community collectively, because it's not that I lost Isaac, we lost Isaac. Sandra's family didn't lose her, we lost Sandra. Every time we lose someone in a violent way, it is us who lost. We lose somebody, that is our next mayor, that is our next president, that is our next doctor or attorney, that is our next police officer. So it's not someone that I lost or that family lost, it is something we lost. When you stop at a light, think of it this way: when we lose someone, when you stop at a light and you're upset or annoyed because you're 5 minutes late or somebody's at that light 8 seconds sooner, but then you realize when you go past something else, go through your day, or you go past on the street, that you missed a car accident. You missed someone, a fire, you missed someone, a shooting. That's because we lost that person. So that person who would have been stopping just could have saved your life. So we need to make sure that we unite together. We need to make sure that we understand that there is hope, there is help. So with this organization, that's what we do. We help you figure out what to do next. Where do I go with my grief? Where do I do, or who do I communicate to? Who can stand with me and help? We help families as well. In the state of Ohio, if there is an event, an unaliving that happens on your property, you will get a bill, or you have to clean that up yourself. Well, that's where our organization comes in. We provide blessings cleanings. I don't say a biohazard cleaning because we were not created as biohazard. God created us all as blessings. We're all family. So we will help with those blessings cleanings. We provide trauma support for the youth, for our children. We even have resources. If you do have something that happens in your family or your friends or someone, and say, for instance, you want to keep somebody in jail, we have a bind program, a signature petition program. We will keep that offender in jail as he or she is supposed to be. We also have a program called SOS. It's called Second Look, my favorite program. And one of the reasons why I reopened the Northwest Ohio Parents of Murdered Children, it's a second look. It takes attorneys, doctors, lawyers, detectives from all over the country to look at your case to see maybe something got missed. Somebody did miss something. They didn't see something, and they'll take a second look at the case, and hopefully they can get a conviction. Right now, it's about a 40% conviction rate for things that got missed or unnoticed, or because some of us, because who we are and what we are and where we live at in our tax bracket, we get ignored. This way we don't get ignored. And our organization, no one gets ignored. If you just want to know how to help somebody with grief, because we do know if there's an event happens, it happens in a 10-mile radius. So if it happened next door to you, you want to know what to do. How can you help that family? How can I support that family? What resources are out there for all of us? Maybe you just need some support. Your child may go to school with that person that went to next door and they don't know what to do. So we send a little touch. We work with people in the community and with the city, and we'll send a little touch to handle with care, to handle our babies with care. We're all here to make sure that the next generation does not have to endure what we are enduring right now. These unspeakable acts, these unspeakable things that we didn't have to worry about when we were younger. My youngest son is awesomely autistic. And when I talk to legislation, when I go to the White House, when I talk to people on Capitol Hill, I always leave them with this. My youngest son is awesomely autistic. And after Isaac was murdered, he went through a lot of trauma. He's still going through it, but it's getting better because every day before he was unalived, and more recently, Nicholas says this, Mom, what's for dinner? We all need to go back to the only thing we worry about every day is what's for dinner. That is it. I want my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren and for the next 10 generations to go back to the only thing our families and children worry about is what's for dinner. So we will fight, we will unify, we will gather, we will talk, we will have every conversation, we will be kind to each other, we will be compassionate with each other, we will educate each other. And we're going to just get settled with every day, what's for dinner? Every time I see every last one of you, I'm going to ask you, what's for dinner? Thank you.
One of our CSRN traditions is to pour libation in remembrance of our ancestors on all special occasions. And this is such an occasion. It's an opportunity to reflect on our African past and our present here in the hills of North America. Our fathers and mothers were brought here, slaved, lived, struggled, and built the very nation that continues to oppress, violate, and subjugate our men, women, and children. For all lives to matter, Black lives must matter. For them then who gave so much, we give in return. On this same soil, we will sow our seeds and liberation and higher level of human life. May our eyes be the eagle, our strength be the elephant, and our boldness be like the lion. And may we remember and honor our ancestors and the legacy they left for us long as the sun shines and the waters flow. Water is suggested as it holds the essence of life and should be placed and poured in the directions of the four winds, north, south, east, and west. Let me have my water. For our people everywhere, and then for Shaka, Ahmed Abba, Samori Toure, and Zinga, and all others known and unknown who defended our ancestral land, history, humanity from alien, colonial, and imperialist invaders. For our children and the fuller, freer lives they will live because we struggle. Ashe?
Ashe.
And Ashe means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. For the Nguzu Saba, the new system of views and values that gives identity, purpose, and direction to our lives. Ashe. For Garvey, Parks, Malcolm, and King, Harriet, Fannie Lou, Sojourner, Bethune, and Nat Turner, and all the others who dared to define, defend, and develop our interests as a unified people. Ashe?
Ashe.
And for the continual struggle through which we will inevitably rescue and reconstruct our history and humanity in our own image and according to our own needs. Ashe?
Ashe.
And lastly, for the motherland, cradle of civilization, Ashe.
Ashe.
For the ancestry and their indomitable spirit, Ashe.
Ashe.
For the elders from whom we can learn much, Ashe.
Ashe.
For our youth who represent the promise for tomorrow, Ashe.
Ashe.
For our people, the original people, the Asiatic black man and woman, Ashe.
Ashe.
For our struggling remembrance of those who have struggled on our behalf. For Umoja, the principle of unity which guides us in all we do, and for the Creator who provides all things great and small. Ashe.
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 What I like to do next is bring up a local freedom fighter who I love organizing with. Her name is Sidi, and it's pronounced CD, not CD. She's with New Order Human Rights Organization. It is a privilege for me to have her here with us. Can we bring her on by a round of applause?
Good afternoon. I'm here today just to say a few words and speak on the police brutality that we see day in and day out. We have not had a recent murder here in Toledo by Toledo police, but we've had people attacked by dogs. We've had women attacked walking down the street. We've had many injustices that I can't name all of them. I will say this: when I look in the mirror, I see George Floyd, I see Sonya Massey, I see Breonna Taylor, because it could have been me, it could have been you. What I tell my friends and family is don't wait until it comes to Toledo to speak out, because we have Toledo police officers that have taken advantage of the community. They work for us. We are the community. We pay taxes, we pay their salaries, but they don't protect and defend us. They harass us. They put officers in our community that don't look like us.
That's right.
And therefore we get harassed. So when I have something going on in my neighborhood, guess what? I'm not feeling comfortable to call the police, because I don't know if when the police get there, if I'm calling for help, if I'm going to be shot and killed. I don't know if my sister or brother that has mental health is going to be shot and killed when we call for help for them. Even though they have a CIT department, they still shoot and kill those with mental health.
That's right.
So today we stand in solidarity with each other, because you don't have to look like me to stand up for me. Silence is violence. So we stand with those others that have been injustice, whether it's here or there. So we need to come together in the city of Toledo, although it's happening nationwide, but we don't want it to happen here. We tired of saying names. We tired of holding up pictures and posters of people that should still be here. We also have to start with our own community to end the violence that we have against each other. All of it needs to stop, but we have to speak about it all. So I come here today just asking that you continue to fight with us. We have to fight together. Together we are better, but separated, one voice is not enough. We can't wait until they say complete, total immunity. We need to stop all of it. If you are an officer of the law, whether you're a judge or prosecutor, you need to be held accountable. You don't get no immunity.
That's right.
We don't pay you for immunity. Our tax dollars was not for immunity. It's for you to protect and serve us. It's for, if we go to court, for us to be treated the same way as the next person. So today I just stand and I ask that you continue to fight the fight. When we have these rallies and we come out, continue to bring other people with you. I mean, there's no reason that this place shouldn't be surrounded right now with all of the stuff that's going on right here in Toledo. When you can have an officer call a woman a fat wench, which is a derogatory term, and nothing really happens, a slap on the wrist. So first I call you a fat wench, then I stop you and give you a ticket for walking in the street. Then I let my dog bite you. I shoot you with rubber bullets when you peacefully decide to speak out, and then I kill you. Let's not wait until TPD kills somebody. Let's stand up now. So I ask that you repeat after me to end qualified immunity.
And qualified immunity.
TPD protect us.
TPD protect us.
TPD serve us.
TPD serve us.
Thank you.
Now that's definitely hard to follow, CD. So thanks a lot for that. Family, we deserve better from Toledo, the Toledo Police Department. And that's one of the subjects that they don't want us talking about. The political parties don't want us talking about that. Criticizing the police is always off the table, but not with us. We're not afraid of them. We can follow them too. All right. We don't mind them patrolling us. We can patrol them too. We're going to do the same. We're going to push back with the same power that they oppress us. So no longer are we going to lay down and just allow them to do whatever they want. There's a new way forward. What's happening now in politics? We are no longer allowing anyone that calls himself a Democrat make us feel that they're for us. They're going to have to earn our votes now. And they can no longer bring on celebrities and singers and actors and make us believe that they're for us. We've had 90 years of voting for Democrats. 90 years. And our communities are the most run down. Our education systems are dead last. Our stores are non-existent. Now, that does not mean that we're going to give Republicans another 90 years. I'm saying that there's going to be at one point, we're going to have to do something for ourselves, people. We realize that both parties have failed us. We don't need to vote for them in order for them to show us that they care. We don't need to vote for them in order for them to show us that they care. And right now, family, it appears that neither cares. And maybe it's us that need to start caring. As C.D. said, maybe it's us that need to start standing up for ourselves. What C.D. said, maybe we need to stop killing each other. Maybe we need to start realizing that we're the number one killers of self. We're the number one rapers of our women. We're the number one abusers of our children. We can no longer depend on someone outside of our community and our former slave masters and their children to do for us what we could do for ourselves. Am I right, family? The next issue is our international connection. Most of us feel that what's happening in Gaza and Palestine has nothing to do with us. The same people that are assassinating and killing children and bombing schools are the same ones that was killing us and bombing our schools and our churches. Family, it's the same enemy. And if we believe what's happening in Gaza is not going to take place here, then I think that you've underestimated our enemy. So I'm going to bring in my brother Amjad and then my sister Willia to come up and talk about the issue of what's happening in Gaza, unfiltered, free to speak, because that's what time it is. Amjad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
My name is Amjad. I'm with the Media Decompression Collective, an organization that just recently organized the Palestine Film Festival. But myself personally, I've been a long time peace activist, especially on the Palestine issue here in Toledo for the last 50 years. I know I don't look that old, but that's okay. So there is a lot that we have in common. The struggle that, well, before let me say that I am honored and proud to be standing here amongst my brothers and sisters behind me and in front of me, because all our struggles, be they here in Toledo, be they throughout this country or throughout the world, is a common struggle. It's a class struggle where people need to throw off the shackles of colonialism and imperialism and the way it oppresses us everywhere. Now, having said that, I want to point out some common things that are happening here that we have in common that are happening in Palestine and other parts of the world. Sonya Massey was one of countless number of African Americans, Black people killed in this country that didn't need to die. She was murdered. And by the people who tell us on their cards and in their rhetoric when they speak to us and to the public that they're supposed to protect and serve us. But in action, it's the exact opposite that takes place. We can't have that anymore. That's the same thing that's happening in Palestine. When Israel is about to attack Palestinian areas and bomb them to death, they drop leaflets telling the Palestinians, we're concerned about you, so we want you to move from this section to this section over there. What ends up happening is the Palestinians move and they bomb them where they move to. So they lie to them, just the way the police are lying to us here when they say they're going to protect us and serve us. What's more, the same entity in Palestine, the Israeli occupation forces, there's an ongoing program nationally where they're brought over here to train our own police departments throughout the country to use the same tactics that are used against Palestinians in torture, in oppression, to use them here against anybody that doesn't fit the status quo and play the game. And that's, we're talking about black people, brown and black people, and any other minorities that stand up, immigrants and so forth. There's a lot in common. The other thing that ties our struggles together is that while the city of Toledo is putting forth a program where they're going to accept military grade armored vehicles and materials to be used by our police department to oppress us, why do we need that kind of material to oppress us over here? Are we up in arms with machine guns and so forth fighting anybody? No. But yet they feel like we're the enemy and they're going to use that kind of greater material to fight us. It's basically to keep us silent and intimidated. Excuse me. That money is the same money from our tax dollars that is also going to fund the war, Israel's war of genocide against the Palestinians. Billions and billions of dollars a year is going to there. When Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, came to speak here, he was given standing ovation by the majority of the people in both houses.
That's right.
And he was told, yeah, we're on your side in the genocide that you commit. These are the same people that are funding our police departments to be militarized and fight us here on our own land here. U.S. has a long history of oppressing the people. They came from Europe. They genocided the Native Americans. They enslaved Africans here, brought them here against their will. And now they're funding genocides all over. They also give arms to Saudi Arabia in its attacks against Yemen. For so many years, you don't hear about it in the press. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed. And the death toll in Gaza is not 40,000 like they're saying. It's a minimum 200,000, a maximum of 500,000 or more. These are experts that are saying this, but the media will not report that. And there's been directives given by the U.S. government to the press and the media organizations to not mention those figures. So we're being lied to, and we need for this to stop. Our struggle, arm in arm, is the similar and the same struggle because it's the same belly of the beast here that's funding it all around. Right now, what the U.S. is doing, in addition to its funding the genocide in Gaza, it's calling the recent elections in Argentina illegitimate, and they won't recognize the democratically elected ruler. The same one, it's Venezuela, sorry. Yeah, Venezuela, sorry. They do it all over the world, so Argentina is probably not similar. But anyway, yeah, it's Venezuela. That's right. And they won't recognize a duly democratically elected head of the country. And that's the same person and his predecessor they've tried to assassinate. So money from our tax dollars is going into the CIA, the FBI, to do these kind of coups all over. The same thing happened in Iran in the 50s when Iran elected a democratic president, and it's happening throughout Latin America, Africa, and here in this country. I wore my shirt today that has the African continent on it, and I wear my Palestinian Free Palestine hat because I realize the connection. It's global. We have to realize that when we speak about freedom from police oppression and police force, we have to speak for freedom for people who are oppressed all over the world, because our struggle is their struggle. Thank you very much.
Before I bring up my sister and we close out, one of the things that we decided to do was find another way forward regarding dealing with Toledo, the Toledo Police Department. Years ago, they had a civilian review board that the city of Toledo and the Toledo Police Department cherry-picked. And they picked the most compliant community members to be a part of that group. They never got anything done, and they never made an impact. So we can no longer think that the police can police themselves. So we realize that if we don't do something for ourselves, then we're complicit. So a few years ago, we formed the Community Solidarity Police Review Board. And within the next few weeks, we're going to take on our first case. What does that mean? That means that any of the Toledo police officers that act outside the color of law, we will meet and we will determine if we will charge them, if we will subpoena them. Now, we understand what qualified immunity is, and we also understand that the prosecutor may not move forward. But if we can have some sleepless nights, so can they. If we can have anxiety about driving from this place to the next place, well, so can they. So what's next after that? For the Toledo police officers that we find that have acted beyond the color of law, we will send out community offender notes, bulletins in their neighborhood. What will that look like? It will look the same as a sexual offender notification that you get in your mailbox, letting you know that someone in your community is unsafe to be around. So that's the next stage of this. The next level of the lift is to have some billboards, letting people know who the latest community offender from the Toledo Police Department is. So family, we're committed to doing something now so that if they pull CD over, if they pull Amjad over, if they pull me over, they got to think twice now. They can no longer think that they could treat us any type of way and nothing will happen. I want to move forward with our international issues of Gaza. Those are our people. So if you identify as Black or African American, those are our people. And they make us believe that we're just African Americans here and no one else is connected with us. That's the greatest trick that our former slave master and their children did, was to make us believe that we are a minority when we outnumber them 10-1. So my sister, can you come up, introduce yourself, and let the people know why we should understand and be compassionate about the American Muslims for Palestine?
Lower the mic. Assalamu alaikum and peace be to you all. My name is Walat Kanan. As mentioned, I'm here on behalf of American Muslims for Palestine. We are a national organization, but our local chapter focuses on educating, providing advocacy, and community organizing relating to the Palestinian cause. Some, I think, ignorantly may ask, how do you have the capacity to focus on these other causes when you guys are in such a time of crisis? But my answer to that is that I don't have to stop grieving. I don't have to stop grieving those who are suffering in Gaza to hold space for those who are being harmed due to police brutality, because our struggles are so interconnected. They're not just similar, but they are truly the same struggle. These are the same powers that be that are committing atrocities in this country, in this city, and across the world. I think that something that has been pointed out today is that we are more powerful when we show up in numbers. Our oppressors want us to be divided. Our oppressors want us to feel powerless. and our oppressors want us to feel uneducated. They will attempt to gaslight you and tell you that you're not articulate enough to make an argument, that you aren't educated enough about the history, but you know. Whether or not you have had an opportunity to stand in front of people and educate others and make an argument, you know. Our struggles are interconnected. We all live with the generational trauma of our ancestors, you know. There is not anything that you don't know enough about. We can continue to uplift one another by educating ourselves, becoming more articulate, learning those talking points, but we have to start somewhere, and we can't start if we continue to gaslight ourselves, because that is what they want you to feel. They want you to feel powerless. The greatest way of giving up your power is just recognizing that you don't have it. So while I find myself sitting in really deep grief at this time, I also find myself deeply optimistic, because I think that this is the generation that is going to make a difference, because we have learned to stop listening to those in power. We have learned that they are lying to us. We have learned that their attempted division of us is what they do to continue to remain powerless. So I urge you to wake up tomorrow and realize the power you have, and connect with other community members and help us in this fight to make a difference.
In closing, for the younger people here, I'm a part of that generation that failed you. You inherited this not because you did anything wrong. It's because those that are my age and over actively not did anything. We actively not passed on wisdom, understanding, knowledge. And now a lot of our young people are waking up, and they're realizing that we've lied to them. They're realizing that we told them to go to school, get good grades, and you'll get a good job. All right, that's false. We told you to eat 3 meals a day and snacks in between. That was false. We told you to believe in a God that looked like your former slave master and their children. And that's false. And family, at one point, I tell my pastor friends that at one point, our children are going to figure out what we knew and when we knew it. And they're going to drag us religious leaders through the streets in pickup trucks because we knew better. We know that we're lying to you in the pulpit. We know that it's one and done, that no one has come out of the sky to tell you that there's something out in space, that you need to hurry up and die and get there. We know that there's nobody in the ground that's waiting for you after you die to burn you forever when you made all your mistakes up here. Family, we've lied to you. I'm old enough to know. I'm 61 years old, and I know where the bodies are buried. So they're not coming after me to say, Brother Washington, why you say that? Because I know us as religious figures. So family, you're going to have to find your own way. You're going to have to find your own connection to God. You're going to have to start relying on sources and resources to deal with your mental health. You're going to have to rely on some resources to deal with intimate partner violence. Because us as pastors, preachers, imams, reverends, and rabbis, some of us are ill-equipped to handle all of the facets of life. So at one point, you're going to have to stop believing in us and start believing in yourself. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said once, if you want to know what God looks like, look in the mirror. Right. And stop looking at somebody else to do for you what you can do for yourself. Right. As we close, I want to recite our CSRN pledge. We took this pledge from the historic Million Man March, where I attended in 1995. And that was the first time I saw 1 million plus Black men come together, not to petition the government, not to complain, but that it's on us to atone for our sins as the leaders in the community. It's on us to be responsible and take responsibility for our failures and go back to Toledo and be better. I was one of those that went to the Million Man March, and I heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan tell us to go back and join an organization that's doing something right in the community. And he left us with this pledge. So I'm going to say I like for you to say I and repeat after me. I say your name.
Amjad Damani.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
As I love myself.
As I love myself.
All right, so how many of us can do that? Because first you got to love yourself. And you can't love yourself unless you know who you are. So self-knowledge is first. You are not a Democrat. You are not a Republican. You're not a part of your club. You're not a part of your sorority. You are a direct descendant of God. And if you know that, say I. Your name.
Amjad.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To study.
To study.
To improve myself.
To improve myself.
Spiritually.
Spiritually.
Mentally.
Mentally.
Morally.
Morally.
Politically.
Politically.
And physically.
And physically.
For the benefit of myself.
For the benefit of myself.
My family.
My family.
And my people.
And my people.
So why do we say study? Because we have too many leaders that are unknowing. And Dr. King, near the end of his journey, he told Harry Belafonte that he feared that he was leading his people into a burning house. And that burning house was and still is integration. There's integration where one person in power puts us with another group that doesn't want us. That's integration. Segregation is when one person of power separates us. But family, what we need to do is separate. We need on our own to decide that we are no longer going to engage in their way of life, in their values. I'm not going to hate who they want me to hate. I'm not going to love who they force me to love. Now it's on us, family. And if you believe that, say I. Your name.
Amjad.
Strive to be a part of the solution.
To be a part of the solution.
The process.
The process.
And not the problem.
And not the problem.
Will it happen overnight? Of course not. But it's got to start with you. Feeling different about yourself. Saying different positive things about yourself. Family, you're with you more than anybody else. So why shouldn't you say something good about you instead of waiting for social media to acknowledge you with a like, acknowledge you with a heart, acknowledge you with a star, acknowledge you with a thumbs up? No, family, it starts with you. And if you believe that, say I. Your name.
Amjad.
Will strive.
Will strive.
To give all that I can spare.
To give all that I can spare.
Of my time.
Of my time.
My strength.
My strength.
And energy.
And energy.
To achieve.
To achieve.
The above said.
The above said.
Thank you for being here. Give yourself a hand. And we appreciate all those on social media that are watching our Sonya, Massey Community Vigil. Follow us on Community Solidarity on YouTube and subscribe. We're trying to get up to at least 100,000 subscribers so that they'll send us one of those fake YouTube plaques in the mail. Thank you. And all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Yeah.
And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else, peace.